Hello, and thank you for joining me at the Alliance Open House Online. This is the Thames and Kosmos workshop, where we're going to talk about how you can increase sales for family games using our award-winning and best-selling games, which we have quite a few of right now, very happy about, but we're only going to go over a few of them. Before I go over those, I would like to just briefly touch on how I feel about Kosmos games. First off, I'll say we have the best family board games, modern family board games. And the reason for that is we have some of the best designers and editors in the industry. We make sure that the games that we design are something we can be proud of. The rule books, everything about them is just going to be top quality. In addition to the designers and editors and the whole team here, we also have top quality components. We make sure that the games that we offer are going to be something we can be proud of, and the components are a big part of that. And then lastly, I want to touch on something that I'm also very passionate about, and that's the customer service. I started in this company doing customer service, and I still do it. It's something that I'm very proud of because we do such a good job. And the job extends to both you, the retailers, but also to the end users, the customers. If you have a problem, if they have a problem, if anyone has a problem, whether it be missing a component or they accidentally destroyed a component or if they have a question about the rules, we're here to help and we do an excellent job. So thank you again for joining us, and we'll start off with The Crew and the Quest for Planet 9. This game just won the Kennerspiel des Jahres Award, which is the German for Connoisseur Game of the Year. But don't let that word connoisseur fool you. This is actually a family weight game. Let's go over some of the statistics here really quick. The MSRP on this game is going to be $14.95, which is great. I really think that's a good impulse purchase price, where if you've got this next to your register or someplace very visible, I really think you can sell this to anyone who gets in your store, who walks in your store. Plays ages 10 and up. If you're a gamer family, I think that age can definitely go down. If you're not a gamer family, I still think you could get younger than that. Let's see, it plays 3 to 5, but there's a 2-player variant, and the 2-player variant is really good, getting great reviews. So I would consider this a 2 to 5 player game. And the box says 20-minute playtime, but that is actually also negotiable, because you could play this game in 5 minutes, or you could play it for hours. Each round you could play and be finished with, and that can take as long as just a couple of minutes. So the amount of time you play this is up to you, which is great also if you want a demo, because you can play it really quick. Like I said, I think this is a family game. One of the reasons I think it's a family game is because I grew up playing hearts and euchre and bridge in these trick-taking games with my family. And I think a lot of people are in that same group as me, that we played cards as a family growing up. And so I think that anyone who played cards like that is going to love this game. But not only is this a trick-taking game, it's a cooperative trick-taking game. And cooperative games are kind of modern family game. It's kind of a new idea. It's not super new, but it's kind of a new idea. So this is going to be very interesting and attractive to the hobby gamers as well. So family gamers, hobby gamers, anybody, really, this is a great game. Now, let's take a look at the components, and I'll also talk about kind of a little bit about the gameplay. All right, if you open up the box, first you'll notice is a rule book. This looks like a big rule book, but don't be intimidated, because only half of it is the rule book. The other half is a log book. And the log book has in it, in addition to some quick icon explanations, it has 50 different missions. Now, I said before, this is a cooperative trick-taking game. This is kind of how it really happens. This is where it comes to life. Like a trick-taking game, people are trying to collect cards, but this is going to give you a very specific mission. And like I said, there's 50 of them. You can play 1 through 50, and that's going to take you days, months. I mean, it's really a lot. But you could also just pick and choose, or you could play them again. Every time you play, you're going to shuffle the cards, so it's going to be a completely different game. I prefer, when I teach this game, I always make sure to play mission number 5. It's my favorite. And I definitely think that everyone's going to kind of have their own favorite. So picking and choosing is a really good option. It also makes it a little more approachable because you don't have to go through everything. But there's a great way to like keep score at the bottom here, so you really can make a campaign out of it. We have here some of the cards that come in the game, and these are a nice linen finish, so you can play with these for hours and hours, and they're not going to show the wear that a regular card will. You'll notice they're nice bright colors, which is great, but they also have icons that make them colorblind friendly. And what I love is, in addition to each of these cards kind of having a sci-fi Easter egg, they also, if you place them next to each other, cards 1 through 9, they're going to create a panorama. I love the attention to detail, and that's one of the details that I love. Each one of the colors are going to show a panorama, and each one of them, like I said, colorblind friendly and just a lot of fun. In addition to the cards, we have more cards. These are smaller. This is part of the logbook and the cooperative nature of this game. You're going to use this to randomize the different tasks and missions that you do. There's also tokens to indicate who like the commander is, and the limited communication that you have, the order that the tricks get taken in. All of these things are going to just make the game easier, right? Like this card here. I love this. It's just a moon card. That's all it is. But this is important because it's a reminder. If you communicate to everyone a card from your hand, you put it down on the table. You then pick this card up, put it in your hand to remind yourself you have a card on the table. So it again, just thoughtful, really well edited, designed, and a fun game. I think that this game is going to just, it's already taken off. It was sold out when we first got it, right? But the crew continues to sell very well, and we expect very good sales for this because it's a great game for for the holidays, but also if you're stuck inside. This has been the fastest selling game in our history, and so I mean, just can't say enough good about it. So definitely check this out if you don't already have it. Now we're going to talk about My City. This game was just recently nominated for the Spiel des Jahres Award, which is the German Board Game of the Year award. Typically, those games are family-oriented, and this one is definitely that. It is a family-oriented game, and we're very happy to have received the nomination. But let's talk a little bit about this. It's launching nationwide October 1st, which might be right now, depending on when you see this. This game, you can see, it's a nice big box game. MSRP is going to be $34.95, which is crazy good. That's a great price, and part of the reason why we've got such a low price point on this game is because we really want to attract those family gamers, those gateway gamers. So if you've played Ticket to the Ride or Catan, this is going to be a similar weight, and we were looking to get that same audience. And I really think that we did a great job with that in this, and I'll explain some of the more specific reasons why later. This plays ages 10 and up. Again, same with the crew. I feel like if you're a gamer family, you could definitely get away with a younger age on that. But 10 is on the box, and that's a really safe bet. Gameplay is 30 minutes plus, and that's an interesting idea too because the game is broken up into episodes and chapters. Episodes are pretty quick, so you could play through an episode in under 20 minutes, especially the first batch of them. You could definitely play through them very quickly. But if you wanted to sit and play a full chapter, you could potentially play for an hour or more. So it's kind of up to you though. Like, you can do it either way. And it plays 2 to 4 players. So My City is a legacy game. And legacy games have typically been marketed and kind of designed for the hobbyist, for the enthusiast, the person who's going to sit down and read a long rule book with lots of like complications and things that change. My City was, as far as I know, if it's not the first, one of the first legacy games designed from inception as a family legacy game. But what that means is that the rule book is very small. You can start playing this game in, there's a watch it played video. If you watch that, you're all set, and that's like less than 20 minutes. But if I'm teaching you the game, we could get playing in 5 minutes. It's really simple. So legacy game, though, let me explain that a little bit. Legacy means that each game is going to change, not necessarily significantly, but permanently. So if I win the first game, I'm going to get some points for winning, and then I'm also going to maybe get something that's going to hinder me for a future game. That's kind of, and the person who comes in last place, they might get a benefit. So the next game, the roles might switch. They might get points, whereas I will get a benefit for the following game. Let me break open the components so you can kind of see a little bit better what I'm talking about here. So this is the player board, and each player is going to get their own board. And on this board, there's a little slot up here. This is the greatest thing. The very first thing you do is you name your city. So you're going to take a marker or a pen and physically write on your board, and that kind of preps you for later on in the game when you're going to continue to add things to this, stickers and marks and different things like that. Again, that's the legacy component of this game. But you'll notice that this game doesn't look too busy. There's not a lot going on here. It does get a little bit busier, but never too complicated. There's some empty spaces here and along the bottom. Those are going to get filled with stickers as the game progresses. Essentially, you're building a city, and the city is going to progress with the times. Like first, you're just settling this area, and eventually, you're going to build more buildings. And then no spoilers here. It's in the components, and it's also, like you can see, the industrial age is coming, and a railroad is going to come through your town, and all these things are going to make dramatic and permanent changes. And the cool thing is, your board will always be different than your opponent's boards, because you're going to start adding stickers immediately, and you won't get the same stickers. So I get excited about this game because I really think it has a lot of potential. It's so much fun for me as a hobby gamer. But this is a game that I want to play with my family for Christmas because, or over the holidays, because this is something that they can get into, and I also feel like it's going to kind of hook them. They're going to want to play more games like this or more complicated games too. All right, so these are the boards. Here we go. Here's the rule book. You can see, I mean, there's not much going on here as far as text. There's a lot of images, and that's it. And then after that, we have a completely separate rule book within the rule book, and that is for the Eternal board, which you can see here. So we have the regular board, which we've already kind of talked a little bit about. Then we have the Eternal board. The Eternal board is essentially this game, My City, without the legacy component. The cool thing about that is, you may have kind of put this together, you're adding stickers and you're writing on this. This once you've played through, it's kind of done, right? Like you've built your city, but those stickers and those markings, those are permanent. But turn it around and you can play this game indefinitely. You can play it forever. And it plays with a lot of the rules that you pick up on this side. So recommend that you play this side first. So that's the rule book. We have here some envelopes. Now this is interesting, right? You'll notice these envelopes, and some of them are thicker than others. In these envelopes, you're going to open them up, and they're going to contain rules, sometimes components, sometimes little surprises. And that's another thing that's kind of a legendary or legacy game thing, where you are going to, you don't necessarily know what's going to happen. You open up an envelope, and it's going to say, from now on, I don't want to give any spoilers, but let's say, from now on you got a space station or something that you need to make space for in your city. Now, that doesn't really happen because it doesn't go that far in the future, but you can imagine the cool things that might get introduced to your city, and they're all in here. Every player is going to get their own tiles. These are what we call polyomino tiles, and they're all marked on the back with your player icon, which is colorblind friendly, but also colored, which makes it easier. That corresponds to the marking on your board here. These are nice quality thick components as well. It's just really well done. The artwork is great. The feel of this game is fun and engaging immediately. and it's going to do really well with families. I think that this is a game that, similar to The Crew, although it just received the nomination and there's a lot of excitement for this game, I think this is going to have really a long tail because it's classic. You'll play this and you'll tell your friends about it, and they'll be like, "Ooh, my family might enjoy that game." And so again, place this in a good spot in your store, and they'll just fly out the door. All right, the next game we're going to talk about, it's actually 2 games, but it's in a series, so we can kind of talk about them at the same time. We have Exit the Game, we have the Cemetery of the Night, and the Enchanted Forest. These games are going to be coming out in late October. Both of them are going to MSRP for $14.95. You should know the Exit games by now. If you don't, you're missing out on some great opportunities because these games are selling really, really well. We've sold over 1 million in the US so far and 5 million worldwide, so definitely get on this train if you haven't already. So they play 1 to 4 players, and these 2 are ages 10 and up. Some of them are 12 and up, and some of them are 6. One of them is 16 and up, and I'll get into why that is, maybe why that's a good selling point a little bit later. So the Enchanted Forest, this one is going to be a little bit easier, and Cemetery of the Night is a little bit harder. So this is going to be great for families. I mean, either case, like if you haven't played an Exit game, maybe this is the one you want to pick up. This is a great one to suggest to people who haven't played any of the Exit games so far, or have maybe played with some younger people. This one is for the a little bit more advanced, although it's not the hardest one we've made. It'll definitely challenge those who have played, in some cases, all of our other Exit games. As you probably know, puzzle games have done very well this year, and the Exit games have done especially well. So we're very happy about that. And these are going to be, again, like an affordable activity for people during the holidays or just, stuck at home. Puzzles are very popular for that reason, and these are especially popular. At least they have been for us. Another really great selling point of these games are that we have 17. This will make 17 in the series. So they range from beginner, like the Enchanted Forest. I think that the Sunken Treasure might actually be easier, to some of the more difficult ones like Exit the Catacombs of Horror. That's our 16 plus one. It's a 2-part series, 2-part within the series, and it is extremely difficult. But that's great, because it's going to, you kind of like hook your customers with this one or the lighter ones, and they have room to grow. They can spend, I think there's about 6 in this kind of 2-circle rating category, and then they get harder, but you've got a lot of room for your customers to grow. It's definitely a series you want to hook people on if they aren't already. And these are also great for like stocking stuffers, big stockings at least, or just like those like impulse gifts, because $14.95 is a great price. All right, this is the last game we're gonna go over really quickly. This is the adventure games. Now, these we introduced 2 years ago with adventure games, the Monochrome Inc. and the Dungeon. They're kind of like choose your own adventure, but they're a little bit more complex than that. If you've ever played a PC point-and-click game, that's kind of more the inspiration for this game. Because unlike Choose Your Own Adventure games, which is just everyone kind of choosing collectively what to do, everyone has their own character, and they all get to choose their own paths in this world, but you're all working together, cooperatively, trying to solve the riddles, but also find the story. All right, so this one, we'll go over the details really quick. MSRP is $19.95, so a little bit more than the Exit games, a little bit more than The Crew, but much more content. There's a big, thick book in here. There's just a lot of cards, standees, a lot going on here. This one's going to be, age recommendation is 12 plus. It plays 1 to 4 players, and this one is going to be 4 sessions of 75 minutes. But unlike the Exit games, you can actually replay this, and there's multiple endings. So it's not an unlimited amount of play, because once you've played through all of the scenarios, but that's so much gameplay right there. But it's great value for what you're getting. Let's look at some of these cards here. Now these are the German cards, so you'll have to excuse the subtitles. But I love the artwork in this. It's fantastic. It reminds me of some of the Japanese cartoons. I love the style. Let me show you the booklet. Again, I apologize, this is German, but look at how long this book is. It's over 90 pages. Now, this brings up a very important point. This is a story-based adventure game. And as you are well aware, the story-based games like role-player games are doing very well. And this is like a very low entry-level story-based role-player game. Like I said before, each player is going to get a character, and their characters are actually unique. They have abilities or things they can't do. And so on your turn, you literally get to choose what you want to do. It's maybe not as free form as some of the other RPGs out there, but that's kind of what makes this nice and a little bit easier to pick up. You don't have to explain to someone that you can do anything. You say, you can either move here, you can pick that up, but you can see everything that you can do. And when you choose to do that, you open up the book and you read what happens. And even within there's more decisions that can be made. Here are some of the cards again. I just love the artwork. I probably shouldn't spoil this for you, but I love it. It's great. Really, really excited for people to play this. I played through the first chapter. There's 4 of them. I'm waiting for the final English copy to play it, but I'm really excited about it, and I think you should be too. This is another best-selling game from the Kosmos line in the family, Kosmos games, that you should definitely have on your radar this time of year. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate that you watched this whole video. You've made it. Thank you, and I hope that you have a great rest of a trade show. If you have any questions at all, just come to the booth or chat room channel, the Thames and Kosmos. I'm going to be there, so ask away. Also, if you have any questions, just contact me via email. It's thomas@thamesandkosmos.com. I'm always happy to chat. And yeah, thanks again for your time, and have a good one.